and welcome to Right Now with MrTieDye. Today I'm going to do the spine on the back of the t-shirt. I've had a few questions on that, so that was perfect time to come in and do a Right Now video. So what I have here is a t-shirt that's been soaked in soda ash. It's spun out so it's barely damp. And the way I like to prep my t-shirts, if I'm going to do spine or something different on the back, is, first off, I like to work on the inside of my t-shirt. But I'll take one of the sleeves and poke it through to the other side. Once you have it in the other side here, then I just line up the little seam here on the bottom of each of the sleeves, line that up together. And you can kind of line the sleeves up, shake those out some, and then you can start getting the rest of the t-shirt lined up. If you pick it and shake it, and then what I'll do is grab the front and the back of the t-shirt here, smooth those out so that they're stretched out nice and flat, and you can put those two together, pick the top up, line that up nice and straight. And now everything is all folded together, but your front and your back are separate. So in this instance now, you can tie whatever you want to on the front of the t-shirt, and then when you're ready to do the spine, and that's what we're going to focus on, you can just flip that over, flip it around, and you'll have just the back of the t-shirt. So I'm going to fold this under just a little bit, act like we've already done something there. So now for the spine, most typically what I do is just do an accordion fold straight up. But if you wanted to spice it up a little bit, you could come part way up and then you could go off at an angle, widen that out a little bit. You could do a curvy line coming up here. And one of the other things I like to do is put an oval. So I'll just put a really skinny oval and I'll start down towards the bottom and just kind of work all the way up to the top here. But for this video, what I'm going to show you how to do is just the straight spine. So I'm just going to do an accordion fold, and let's even measure here so we can see just how much of the fold I do. And I usually just kind of grab just a couple fingers worth, but that's about 3.5 inches. Or so let's bring that down to 3 inches. So that's going to give us a 6-inch spine up the back. So that's something you can determine how wide you want the spine to be. So I'm going to do just in a straight accordion fold. Like I say, you can kind of play with this however you want the spine to look on the back of your t-shirt. And looks like some people found me. Hello, hello. Let's see, any questions so far? Yep, I do these surprise videos. This Right Now with MrTieDye. It's however it works out for me when I have the free time here, have the house to myself, and have the time to actually sit down and make a shirt. I usually will take a question that somebody's asked me and do one of these live videos. So I'm glad you were able to catch me live. So I just keep accordion folding. I try to keep these nice and straight here on top, and just making sure that this edge here is lined up. If your edge is kind of wonky, that means you've kind of gone off kilter there, which isn't a bad thing. It just means your spine is going to be crooked. So you can kind of design that however you like. Yes, I use the Procion dyes. So the shirt has been pre-soaked in soda ash and spun out so it's just barely damp, and that's my preferred method for folding the t-shirts up. So we're just going to finish accordion folding. Like I say, this would be the point where if you wanted to take it off wider, I would go up in a little V shape here, just the other side of the collar. So you can play with the back however you like. Okay. Sorry, I get busy reading the comments and then I'm not paying attention to what my hands are doing. So I like to use kite string to tie this up. Another thing, if you wanted to have white in your spine, you could use sinew to tie this up and tie it really tight and then dye it, and that would give you a nice white effect. But we're going to do a DNA type spine on the back of this one. But there's lots of ways to play with this, so I would definitely experiment. Another thing you can do if you wanted to do a rainbow spine is take a t-shirt that's already been dyed, and you can tie this up like this here, use sinew, tighten that down really tight, and do a over dye of black. And then when you open that up, you're going to have a rainbow spine on the black tee. Of course, you'll still see some of the rainbow colors through there, but I mean through the rest of the tee, but you'll have a really bright rainbow spine. Oh, we got somebody watching from the Philippines, New Hampshire. I seen Maine earlier, so all around the country here and outside the U.S. Okay, so I haven't folded anything up. Like I say, you can fold the front however you want, but if you're going to do the spine, that's the main thing that I'm focusing on in this quick video, is I'm going to do DNA on this. So I'm going to use 3 different colors here. I have a turquoise, a dark green, and a light purple. So what I like to do is line my colors up in the order that I'm going to put them on, and then start applying. And I like these little bottles. I found these on Amazon. They got a nice little metal tip on them, and they hold 4 ounces of dye, so that makes it nice for when you're doing the finer detail work. And I'll put a link to this. I found them on Amazon, and I'll put a link to the site where I bought them at. So I like to color mine just in rows here. And of course these little bottles allow you to put smaller amounts of dye on at a time. Indiana, Seattle, people from all over. We're going to color the whole world in rainbows, so thank you for your help. I use just a little bit of sodium alginate to make my dyes just a little bit thicker. When I'm doing my outlining, I have my little black bottle of dye. That I have a lot of the sodium alginate in it, but for this here, it's just a little bit, so I have a slight bit of control, but you don't want to put too much in your regular dyes or they're not going to soak in and penetrate as well. So I keep the amount of other stuff I add to my regular dyes to a minimum. I'll use a little bit of salt in mine just to help with the dye penetration and making the colors brighter. But other than that, I use just water. I use warm water to mix mine with, and that helps like the reds and stuff mix up better. We got somebody from Missouri. I'm in Oregon right now, hoping to travel sometime soon. So what I'm doing is just going through and putting another layer of color on this, just letting a little bit more soak in. And now what I'm going to do is flip this over. So when I do the DNA, I like to line my bottles up in the color I apply them, and then when I'm going to swap, I'll take one bottle, move it to the end, and then I start with the first spot with the first color then once I've moved them. So now instead of, I don't know if you can see that, but on this side I have the green in the second spot. Now the green is going to be in the first spot. And then that'll be the tie-dye spine. And I will get something else put onto the front of this, get it the rest of the way dyed, and then I will put the results up as the profile pic or the thumbnail for the video, and I'll put a link to it over on my Facebook page. Yes, these bottles were sold in packs of 12 on Amazon. So I've only had them for, I think, just a little more than a week. Oops, I went to grab the wrong one. I think I got off kilter here. Let's see. Yeah, I guess we are going with the purple. Okay. Yeah, I think I did my spacing just a little bit off as I was dyeing this because I'm not paying attention. I'm reading comments again. Anyway, so this is going to be the tie-dye spine up the back. And I'm going to let this set up for 48 hours. I'll wash it out and then I'll post the results, put them up as a thumbnail. So thank you for joining me for this quick short episode of Right Now with Mr. Tie-Dye, and I'll be back with more of these. Let's see, will you go back to Ash? Oh, I don't know. If they invite me back, I'll come back to Ash Creek. Yes, lots, really good control. Like I say, I'll put a link to these in the description of this video, so when it comes up live up for public viewing, then there'll be a link to where I got these. They weren't that expensive either. Hi from South Georgia. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you, and I'll be back for another video again sometime soon.